All right, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Frostin' Austin, and I'm pretty stoked about today's video because I know there are quite a few budget anglers out there, and I wanted to be, honestly, what I perceive to be maybe a little risky. I had seen on a website called TEMU.com some fishing equipment, fishing lures, hooks, tackle, just kind of like your day in, day out stuff. And then I saw some rods and some other things. And honestly, I was like, I just want to see how this stuff is. If it is good quality and it's Christmas season, honestly, I love my children to death. You guys know that. I fish with them all the time. But I didn't necessarily want to get them, you know, like I'm using zillion rods and reels. I'm using 6th Sense sensory rods. I'm using some really expensive equipment. My day in and day out stuff as a fishing guide, as someone that creates videos, someone that fishes all the time. But I was on Teemu and I saw some of these other rods and reels, and they just got here, and I honestly wanted to do a review, talk about them, and see kind of their quality. Everything shipped in really hardy packaging, which I was really excited about. This one was the only one that didn't kind of come in hardy packaging, but it was actually wrapped in bubble wrap with everything. So I was really pumped up about it. But you guys know that I travel a lot. My wife and I travel a lot with our children, and every time I'm on the road, I'm always like, dang it, I need to bring a rod, I need to bring a reel, and I can't fit a 7-foot rod or a 6.5-foot rod in a bag or luggage unless I ship it, and then shipping costs are, you know, high with planes and everything. So I was like, what if I kind of got some travel rods, some smaller stuff, and like I said, stuff that my children can use, and it's very price conscientious, and honestly I feel comfortable they could use it without absolutely beating up and destroying my absolutely Mac Daddy equipment. And honestly, I started taking all this stuff out, and I was pretty blown away with how quality this stuff was. I mean, my son, he fishes for panfish, he fishes for catfish, you know, your bluegill, crappie, catfish, so forth. And everything that I have gotten from Teemu, really, honestly, it checks the box for, like, I feel like my kids can use it, and it's not inhibiting them from like having a chance at a really big fish. Like, it's really quality stuff, 2-piece rods and everything. You know, pretty cool. They've got everything from spinning rods. I mean, that's good action. Like, if I was in a pinch, I totally feel confident I could use that. Shaky heading, wacky rig, drop shot. Like I said, it's gonna be perfect for my kiddos. Let's see. I'm gonna open up this booger too. And all the rods came with super nice rod bags like this that like protect it and stuff. Especially, once again, I have 2 toddlers. I almost said 3 toddlers. I was kind of including my dog in that. Emery can step on rods and everything while I'm fishing, but man, this is an ultralight rod. Being from the mountains, we do a lot of trout fishing, and then honestly, who doesn't like to freaking reel in some crappie on a super ultralight rod with a nice little spinning reel? You know, great flex, everything. Not bad stuff. I mean, you kind of just don't know what to expect a lot of times when you look at a company like Teemu, and you're like, man, they have some stuff that you're like, it's kind of scratching the itch. You know, you're like, I want to get it, but it's kind of cheaper, or it's so cheap you might actually think it's like fraudulent or something. But honestly, that was my thing. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get some of this stuff because here's the deal. You guys can use it. Like I said, you guys can use it. I feel utmost confident that it's plenty high enough quality where if they catch a big fish or have a big fish hooked up, they can use it. Now, this one I did get for myself. I was pretty excited about this, but this is a telescoping rod, baitcaster, because I like using a baitcaster, obviously, because that's what I use 99% of the time. But this thing is super sweet. I think this one's 6. Like 6'4", 6'5". Let's see. Nope, it's definitely taller than that. It's 7 foot. I'm 6'3" or 6'4". So it's a medium action, so I can do a little bit of everything with this. Travel rod, it breaks down to about 14 inches, so I can put it in a backpack. I can do a little bit of everything with it. The rods, I mean, the reel seats are like really strong. The rods are really nice. I've got one other rod right here too. This thing was bad to the bone. Once again, super, I mean, freaking, this one came with a rod box for like 25, 30 bucks. I'm like, you can't freaking beat that. This one's sweet. I think Isaac actually saw me open this one earlier and was like, is that for me? I was like, I don't know, son. I can't tell you nothing, boy. Got to keep him guessing. So there you go. Yeah, this one's a medium heavy right here. But seriously, like moderate action. I mean, literally, I could put a crankbait, a square bill or a lipless crankbait on this rod, and he could freaking use this all day. And he's 3 years old. You guys saw, maybe you saw, but he's using a baitcaster already. And like I said, I don't necessarily like him using my zillion stuff. Call me a bad dad. I don't really care. But I'm like, man, I want to give something to Isaac that he can use, that doesn't break the bank, that, like I said, is still pretty decent quality. And man, this thing checks all the boxes. And I'll tell you what else, because now listen, this is where the rubber meets the road right here. Okay, if I was to get all of my rods out, you would see they have been stepped on. Isaac has broke some tips. He steps on the eyes. My dog steps on the eyes and everything. So guess what else they had? They freaking had a ton of eyes for rods, eyelets, and assorted sizes right there. Can you guys see that booger? I mean, that's like 10 of them, 10 different sizes. I got that bag right there for like $2. Yeah, I'm just like, man, it's freaking awesome. There's another whole assortment of more eyes right there for all my rods. Like I said, my kids step on them, my dog steps on them when I have people fishing. As a fishing guide, I feel like that's probably the number one thing I would say on any given guide trip is, hey, you're stepping on the rods, you know. And obviously people don't mean to, the kids don't mean to, the dog doesn't mean to. You're on a boat and it just happens. You got rods laying on the front deck. But I wanted to get a lot of these things. Those are just standard eyes. Once again, when the kids step on the rods, they'll bend out these eyes. So I got some replacement micro eyes that I can literally just heat up the epoxy. I can slide the broken eyes out. I can slide those boogers back in. And you guys know I throw a lot of different techniques, and sometimes I'll mark different techniques with different colors. I have a lot of rods that have these. You guys have asked about where I get those before. I have got them at tackle shops, but TEMU has them as well. They're super, super lightweight. They're super grippy. Like I can feel it, you know, and I want to put these on the handles of some of my rods, some of my very light rods that have just graphite feel, where I still want to have a little bit of grip to them. That's just shrink wrap right there. That just slides right over it. I'll do a whole display on one of my rods because it actually broke, and then I had to sleeve it, and then I end up putting these on it, which is freaking bad to the bone. But there's those bobber stops. Okay, that is like enough bobber stops to last me until I die. You guys see that? Like those are for flipping, those are for pitching, Texas weights. You guys might actually use them for bobbers, for catfish. That is literally 1,000 of them. 1,000 bobber stops. I think I got those for maybe like $4. I mean, something so ridiculous. But I'm looking at everything I got. Oh my gosh, there's one other thing. Where is it? Oh my gosh, these right here. Dude, so they had these pack of 1/4 ounce jig head hooks. And if you guys know, jig heads, the jig head minnow, whatever, crappie fishing, bass fishing have taken over the game. I wanted to get these because I was like, I don't know if the hook is gonna be that big of quality, all right? So right there, you guys see that jig head. Okay, listen to this. Can you hear that? I'm literally just barely touching it. Those freaking hooks are so sharp. That's a 50 pack of hooks right there. I think that 50 pack was $8. $8. It has a size 2 hook on it, which is really, really nice. So I can use 3 and 4 inch, and I've been using this to catch crappie out here. I'm down in Texas right now on the lake behind me. I've been using that to catch crappie. It's a little heavy for crappie, but it's perfect size for bass. And I'm gonna show you some other baits that I got on TEMU that I'm using with that right there. All right, so you guys are gonna be like, dude, you're lying. And I'm like, no, I'm not lying, but I got this awesome bag, waterproof bag, and then they had these minnows. And like I said, the whole jig head minnow thing has taken over the industry, but that right there with that little tail, if you can see that right there, that's a 3 inch little minnow. And literally, I take this right here, I weed it on straight, just like so, come up through the back, and then, dude, freaking right there, are you kidding me? Right there, that little booger has been catching so many fish for me. That's a 3-inch, I can't even, it says soft lure, MLNL warm. Beats me. Everything's in some other kind of language I can't pronounce, but they got them in 3-inch. I got these ones. These are little like swim bait ones. They've got little swim bait tails. Super subtle swim bait tail right there. Like, I think about, especially doing the forward facing sonar, the jig head minnow thing, a lot of times I still like something that has just a little bit of tail action, and that's actually just kind of a subtle little tail that just ever so slightly gives a little, I mean, exactly what it's doing right now, catching wind, just shaking in the wind a little bit. So, you know, I wanted to make this video, honestly, and tell you, hey, these are freaking bad to the bone little baits. These are extremely cheap. I mean, I want to say the pack of these are like $3. You know, the shipping was extremely fast on them. I was kind of also blown away by that because, like I said, I mean, just being honest, I think humans tend to be a little bit of a skeptic at first glance with everything. And I'm not going to say I wasn't. I was like, man, I don't know about this, but I was like, hey, I want to give it a try. I want to see. It popped up on an ad, and I wanted to see if it was serious. So I freaking wanted to take the deep dive, and I did it, and I'm glad I did because these baits are kind of sick. So there you go. Oh man, I weighted that one on straight. That one freaking looks juicy. Look at that right there. I mean, that booger right there, that exact bait actually caught like a 3.5 pounder the other day, just like that. I saw about 4 of them out in the water column chasing some threadfin shad. I had that on 8-pound test on a medium light 6'9" Zillion rod, and freaking busted it right there. So I'm telling you guys, like, these rods, they're super sweet. I promise you'll see videos of me catching some fish on them. And then, like I said, from the minnows that have taken over the industry, dude, they had saltwater stuff that I was really pumped up about, honestly. Like, there were some spoons that I'm like, man, I can utilize that. They had some rip baits, like jerk baits, that were sweet. They had some lipless rip baits that I was really excited about. That's a deal on herring lakes that not a lot of people do. It's almost like the jackal riser, but without a lip, without that metal lip on it. So, and you can just snap it through schooling fish. They had some of those. I plan on getting some of those, but man, I'll be honest, like I said, I'm really excited about all this stuff. I mean, all this stuff right here. I got 4 rods, a whole bag of lures. I mean, literally a whole bag of lures, 1,000 bobber stops that'll last me until they bury me. I got eyes and guides to fix rods that are busted. I got all this stuff for like $120, I think. I mean, it was like nothing. So I wanted to make this video and say, like, man, this honestly was pretty impressive for the amount of money spent. And honestly, things are getting so expensive this day and age. I mean, my wife literally just got back from the grocery store, and she's like, I'm like, how much was it? She said it's $320. I'm like, holy crap, groceries are so expensive, fuel so expensive, houses are so expensive, inflation. It's like, you want your money to go as far as possible. And I really believe that you can do it through Teemu. And like I said, I mean, like, nasty sharp hooks, very realistic looking baits, very quality rods. Man, I saw everything on there, from fishing line. I wanted to get some of their braided line because it was very cheap. I wanted to back a lot of my rods with the braided line. I saw fluorocarbon. I'm like, I don't know. I just want to try it now because everything else seems like it's up to snuff. So anyways, guys, I want to make this video, really unique video. I would say, yeah, you can trust Teemu. Their quality is really good. I'm excited. I've got rod holders for the kids. I'm going to use these rods too. And yeah, man, freaking awesome. Check it out. So link is down in the description to TEMU.com. You guys can get all the baits, all the lures, all the rods, everything I talk about in today's video. So anyways, thanks a ton for watching. Till next time, we'll see you guys.